Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs up here, and as y'all can see, I got rid of my chair. I ain't gonna lie, I tried to repair it and I broke it. So that is my new summer project, though. So and it's been today. I was intending to go a little more just heavily focused on all about recruiting, and then FAMU basketball decided to be like, nah, bruh, we got this. So we're gonna kind of really focus on them, but also talk about some of the current events, y'all. But before we do all that, big shout out to HBCU Digital Network. This is home. Also, shout out to Herb Stewart and the Black Techies. A lot of things going on with them, and man, we gonna lead with the FAMU softball. So y'all can see a little. We ain't gonna do all that, but man, FAMU softball fought hard to make it to the tournament, and 2 games in, 2 games out. So good conclusion to the season, but it is definitely the first season of FAMU softball. So you kind of not first season for our new coach. That being stated, you do want a little more just because you're selfish. I mean, we can be honest with each other about this. As a selfish fan, I want to go to the SWAC tournament every year. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one who's honest enough to say it, but I want to be the best. I want to be in the room where it happens, as I often will tell you. And part of that means winning championships and being the best team in the conference. That's something we didn't do this year. But it also was something where we had a good team. I mean, we also graduated some of our students. Not gonna lie to y'all, I was out there on the Instagram trying to clean up my Instagram a little bit. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes my Instagram gets a little clogged up with that foolishness. I'll be searching through and it's like, that ain't what it's supposed to be, especially for the pod. So I was cleaning it up and I was making sure I had all my FAMU athletes, and I saw Mobley, one of our first base woman, on there. So dropped a follow there and was just making sure. I think sometimes we forget as fans and supporters that sometimes student athletes just they want to see a like or a share on their activities and whatnot. So it was a good season, though. I mean, we were leading at the end of the second game. The first game in the SWAC tournament really was never there, but the second game we were winning early. We just lost the lead kind of late. So it just was one of those things where you were looking at it and kind of keeping watch and staying abreast of what was going on. And by the end of the game, obviously the results were what they were. Not what we wanted, but still a solid outlook and a solid outcome. So I'm not gonna overly complain too much about that. I'm definitely gonna say I wanted more, but at the same point, I'm also realistic enough to say first season. I'm a little glad we made it. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not me just being a overzealous person, but that's me being honest. I'm glad we made the conference tournament. I think we could have went a little farther, but I am glad we made it. So right now I'm trying to pick and choose which one's a little bit bigger over here on this basketball side, but I think we'll roll with this one. Now, as y'all know, and I'm gonna go on to jump into FAMU basketball. That was an abject failure last year. And one of the things, if you did not go and listen to Vaughn Wilson, shout out to Vaughn Wilson and really everybody over the HBCU game day. But if you didn't catch what he was saying and what he was talking about there, one of the things that happened was that he had a real candid conversation with our AD. And one thing I do like about AD, Tiffany Dawn Sykes, she's honest. I mean, she's not disrespectful, but she's forthright. And a lot of individuals have been calling for our coaches' heads for basketball. And really, I appreciated that she addressed it. Like, excuse me, go back and check. She straight up said they got contracts. They're going to serve out their contracts. This season, what it was not what I wanted, and I'm going to support them in the best way forward. She left it there, and I appreciate that, because that's something that I myself. That's not because I feel like she's backing up what I'm saying. I feel like she's being a good steward of our money. That's one of the things she said. She said, within FAMU athletics, continue to give, continue to donate, because I'm showing you that I'm going to be a responsible person, or a good steward, is what she said, with the funds that y'all give me. And she said the coach has been asking for more. And she also addressed some of the things with APR and things like that. And but one of the big things that definitely stuck out, if you're a basketball fan, especially a FAMU basketball fan, you're a long-suffering person, because I'm with you. Their product this year wasn't it. It could have been better, but it wasn't. And it was not really watchable at all times. And she kind of, made it known. But one of the things we as fans were saying, like, yo, we got to do something in recruiting. Like, we got to get some new dudes in here or something. And yeah, we lost a big man last year, but we got one back this year. And we got a few players coming in. Hopefully there's some more. I'm definitely biased on some of them, but with the guys we got coming in right now, no bias. That's just me being me. I'm gonna keep it that plain right there. And one of the things I definitely said, and I own it. Y'all know me. I'm gonna tell you what I said. 6'10". We need some size. And we were missing a player that was of size. Well, your complaints and your words were heard by our head coach. You got a 6'10" forward. Notice it didn't say center, it said forward. So I'm over here like the old lady on Wendy's. Where's the beef? Like, I'm looking for some more. No weird stuff. But just being honest with y'all about this one. 6'10" forward. He's probably gonna play a lot of center with us. That's some good size. I mean, and that's size that is not overly uncommon in the SWAC, but it's not something that you're going to see every day. That's a guy that can play center in a lot of places. And I think at FAMU, he does play center. And that's something that we all stated as a fan base. Like, size in the middle is a problem. The other biggest issue was scoring. And do we have guards that can score? And again, FAMU, this is literally Twitter page right here, y'all. I ain't even guard. North Carolina A&T, Florida boy. In the past, he could score. Can he score now? Because that was our biggest issue. We couldn't score. Yeah, I definitely was honest about mine when it came to some of the players. Like, I definitely first guessed some of the things we did offensively with some of our players. And look, that's y'all seeing me. Look, we had some guys that were defensive stalwarts that should have gotten more minutes, because the idea and the look was that, and I questioned coach about it after I think it was Jackson State game. And it was like, the guy's not scoring. Like, I don't give a darn if he's not scoring. We're not giving up points and we're gaining. Like, yo, what's going on here? So his 6 foot Love Bettis, A&T transfer, Florida guy. He lit it up when he was in Florida and really lit it up in community college. Didn't light it up quite as much as A&T coming down back home. And look, FAMU's best under Coach McCullum when we are guard driven. When the guard is the leader, that's when we are our best. And another 6'6" forward. Look, FAMU's got decent size. Like, don't be surprised. Like, we got some decent size on this basketball team. Forgive me for looking over. That's my other screen. I got 3 screens. But I'm trying to pull up my man's here right quick. We got some decent size forward, guard, and we got some decent returners. Like, just kind of look over there. Yeah, we're losing some guys, but I'm just telling y'all, man, I'm looking over here at the roster from last year, and we didn't always come together. But for instance, I'm just telling y'all, my favorite player is Alex Andrews. That's my favorite player, and I'm biased because he did go to the high school down the street from my house. But also, when I saw Alex in there, man, Alex was a beast out there. 6'7", 200 pounds. He's a forward. And he's a little lanky. Yeah, I mean, he can stand there, eat a few more times at the buffet. But man, when I tell you effort and heart, that was my favorite player. I'm not gonna lie. Next year going in, that's probably my favorite guy again. Like I'm an Alex Stevens dude because I like the effort that he plays with. I like what I see out of him. And I think when you add another 6'6" forward in Keith Lamar, and I really I want to dive a little more into his stats. We're gonna look a little bit more into that. Then you come over here with Love Bettis, who is more of a known for being a scorer, and then you come over here and you get Shannon Grant. I don't know if a lot of us realize, but this FAMU basketball team, all of a sudden, we got a little bit of size to us. I mean, I'm looking at 6'6" guard. I got to check and see is Dominguez going to stay with us. But then, see a little 6'2" here. Like, quiet as it is kept, it's some decent size over here. Like, yeah, you lost some guys, but I'm just saying, like, let's just go ahead and look on over there. Look, I'm not even going to be biased about it. This is the FAMU basketball page. So you can already see some of the guys from last year are still there. But 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'7", he's a senior, but 6'3", 6'8", 6'5", like Noah's gone, I believe. 6'8", like all of a sudden you start looking 6'9". FAMU basketball at a little bit of size. I wonder is Wiley. I'm gonna have to ask a question about Wiley. Is he gonna get like an academic redshirt or something like that? Or is he just done? But all of a sudden, again, you start seeing even Alex Andrews like 6'7". Like FAMU's got some decent basketball size on this roster. It's not like back when I was in college, and not that we weren't. I don't know. You had a lot of 6'6" guys that were playing forward, 6'5" guys playing forward. I'm not seeing an undersized roster here. I'm seeing a roster with some decent size here. And I'll give Coach McCullum some credit, him and Isaac Brown and Craig Brown and Powers, you're bringing together a solid roster. And I'm looking for one more guy to come out here. Just saying, I'm looking for one more. I think there's another forward / guard out there for you to take. But all of a sudden, FAMU's basketball size on the men's side could be a lot better. And I'll go ahead and say it now. If we could get some freaking scoring, FAMU's actually got a shot to be a decent basketball team in a contract year. And I've said this a couple of times before. It's important. I mean, I may have to. This may be a Herb tag in moment. Like I don't have Herb on the ready, but I'm just gonna say it like this. This may be a conversation that we have later on this summer where I bring Herb in and we talk about HBCU basketball a little bit because FAMU's got a decent shot. Yeah, it's football season. We're all wrapped up in it, and it's not really football season, but it's always football season just because that's what brings the butts to the seats. But when you start looking at that, and you're talking about bringing in a 6'10" forward / center. To me, honestly, he's a center for FAMU. Then you add a 6'6" forward, you add a 6-foot guard. I'm just saying, like all of a sudden, that's a roster that's going to get a little bit of respect. And as AD Sykes mentioned, they're going to fulfill their contracts. So all the boo birds over here screaming, "Hey, fire them today, fire them tomorrow." My AD just said no, like for both coaches. And in Coach Pillow's defense, Coach Pillow's also added some folks to the roster too. And a lot of times our issue with women's basketball, hasn't been scoring as much as been health. And yeah, you lost your best player. Your best player transfers to University of San Diego. But you start bringing in more players. And hopefully that's something to where, and you lost a few other players. To me, they were a little more role players, but they were solid, but that's one of those things where as a program, you've got to get better. You've got to improve, but you also have to continue to build and improve what you already have, because I think we can be a formidable team. Now, again, going back over to what our AD was talking about, if you were listening, she talked about them tickets. And y'all know, again, I said it first. I look, and I got picked on. Somebody was, joking on me like, "Oh man, you going crazy about this parking situation." I did. Yeah, I did. But then when the AD goes back and says it, then all of a sudden I don't get that's my little moment to be petty, but I don't get it, bro. You was right. Like, hey, we didn't adequately do this or that. Yeah, I know. But then you also heard a little bit about how the stadium renovation did reduce capacity, and there were some seats that were really you couldn't sit in. And if you read between the lines, excuse me, allergy season's kicking in here in Central Florida. If you read between the lines, AD Sites pretty much told y'all some seats are only going to be sold for homecoming. And they're going to say your view is obstructed, meaning I don't expect you to sit in this seat. If you're going to walk around the whole game, do it. But if you're going to sit up here and watch this game and expect to see everything, no. And the ticket is going to say view obstructed. Hope you get a discount on the ticket, but you're starting to see where I like that she's talked about some of the different sports and some of the different sports that FAMU should add and could add. And one of the things I was brought up was soccer, and I too have brought up soccer. But I think one of the sports we forget is wrestling. Like, FAMU's got a wrestling program and has had a wrestling program since I was in college. It's just not NCAA level wrestling. And that's another one of those sports where I think FAMU could really make a mark. One of my things, if you're new to this channel and new to the podcast, is that I don't believe in competing with Florida State and Florida in every sport. I think it's asinine. I don't think it makes a lot of sense for you to compete against that program with those resources in every sport. Because at a certain point, you're going to continue to lose the arms race. Certain points, you have to differentiate yourself from the big boys so that you can be a big boy. Like, I'm just saying, like, as a man, there's certain things that I do well, and there's certain things I don't do well. And for me, I have to tell you when I don't do well at something. And I think one of the things that you may have to concede is that football wise, we do it well, but we can't do it like they do it. But one thing Florida State doesn't do is lacrosse. They have a lacrosse club. They may even have a wrestling club. But at a certain point, I liked what I saw from Herb. And I'm telling you, man, I'm a bother Herb today. Herb, I'm calling your name a lot, bro. You need to get ready for this talk. We're gonna have a talking. One of the things he mentioned and he brought up was the idea of lacrosse. And I know I'm not the only person who's thought this. They brought lacrosse. Lacrosse in the state of Florida is a high school sport, meaning in the city of Tallahassee, you got at least 5 lacrosse teams, 4 of which are quality. Like Lincoln's got a pretty good lacrosse. Charles normally has pretty good lacrosse. Leon, decent lacrosse. Like all of a sudden, you have a recruiting base in the city. And then furthermore, nobody in North Florida really does lacrosse. If you want college lacrosse, I think you have to come all the way to UCF. And now you already have a facility where you can play lacrosse. You can play it at Bragg, or you can use the intramural fields. Just add some more bleachers there and make it into a stadium. And it doesn't have to be a grandiose stadium. It can be a stadium that seats 500 to 1,000. And that'll suit you very well. All of a sudden, you add to it and you do these different things. But in order to add these kind of sports, we do have to increase revenue. And I appreciated the addressing of that. Again, I'm a reference Vaughn Wilson, and I've known Mr. Wilson. I've known him since it's been about 10, 15 years. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, and less so just like FAMU Athletics. I knew him before I knew he was really affiliated with FAMU Athletics like I did. Like I knew him as like, oh, that's such and such and such and such. He good people. And now I know him more so as like, oh yeah, that's Vaughn Wilson. Yo, like FAMU Hall of Fame, all those things. But one of the things that AD Sykes brought up was the need to increase revenue and how with some of the investing in champions packages, we were losing money. That seems like it wasn't a surprise. You start looking at some of the ticket packages and it was like, yeah, we can't be giving away multiple parks for one ticket. Like, yeah, sounds about right. Like some of the stuff that you saw that were mistakes were honest mistakes, but you also starting to see that one of the things I appreciate is that she's not saying she's not good at stuff, but she is saying, yo, let me get somebody to help me and pay them to do this. And you're seeing where FAMU starting to do those things that we talk about. Search for additional ways to get revenue. Search for additional ways to maximize what we already have, so that us that are in the fandom space as well as the supporter space are able to see that, hey, here's a sport that we would like added. Okay, let's be able to afford it. But then what are you doing with the money I give you? This is what I'm doing with it. And I think that's going to increase the buy-in. And that's what's going to help you going forward, because nobody wants to support a loser. Like, go back and watch some of the basketball games from this past season. It wasn't that they were losers, the product was a losing product. Again, I'm not speaking ill of the students, I'm speaking ill of the results. There's a difference. Like, for instance, I'll tell you quick, I can cook. I can't bake with a darn. I can't. I just, you give me box instructions, great. You give me instructions to bake, I'm okay. But if you just give me something, say, go make some biscuits from scratch, I'm like, I'll try. They might come out good, they might not. Now you give me some ribs, some steak, I got it. I don't need to read instructions. When I finish with this, I'm making tacos. Like, it's taco night in the house. Like, wifey's like, I'm waiting on you to finish. I can cook. But I realized what my shortcoming is. We went and got donuts this morning. I was not making donuts from scratch, and I got a donut thing. Like, that's part of the strength of a good leader, though. Being able to acknowledge that these could enhance my program. I should do this and I should do that. And let me say it up front. And I appreciate that. Again, I joke a lot about, hey, 80 sites and Coach Pillow, and they are pretty ladies, and I joke a lot about that. Like, I do it sometimes just to be like tongue-in-cheek, half-hearted about it. But on this other side, I actually respect them. Like, I respect Coach Pillow a lot, because the first time I met Coach Pillow, I wasn't doing this. I was at homecoming. It was that year of COVID. And she was just out there being cool. Like, oh, hey, what's up? How's it going, Coach? There was cool, like, not a relationship, but she was cool. I saw her at the Orange and Green game. She was cool. 80 Sykes. Every time I've seen her, welcoming. She's really cool. Like, part of it is selling the fact that it's excellence with caring. And it's that customer service aspect. And that's something I'm seeing from our athletic program in a way that I probably hadn't seen in a few years. And it's not because the individuals that were in those roles were inept, but it is more so because they were likely overwhelmed. I mean, you're talking about an athletic program that is oftentimes been under-supported. I mean, I talk about Josh a lot of times, and I got a student who shares his last name, like, yeah, my SID's got your same last name, kind of trying to put that little extra pride in. I'm like, yo, that dude does a lot with himself and some interns. And we just have to continue to support that, because we're seeing the benefit of it. We're seeing where within a few months, and yeah, the APR rolls are what they are. The APR scores are what they are. Go back and watch that. It's a 30-minute video, and I thought AD Sykes did an excellent job of explaining why the APR scores are what they are, because I, like you, was concerned. Like, why the APR scores not doing this? But then you're going back, look at the student athletes you're bringing in. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying in the past 2 to 3 years, look at the student athletes that you brought in. You're bringing in some students with some chops. And the students that are transferring in, they're not slouches. Like, you're not bringing in student athletes that are academically unable to keep up and meet the rigor that is FAMU. And she did mention with the rigor of FAMU, I believe 3.9. I told y'all, look, I mean, I got into FAMU the first time. The second time, they had to take me. I had an associate's degree for that time. Coming straight out of high school, I might not have made it. Just being honest. I still would have went, but I might not have made it. Yeah, I'm being real with you before I'm gonna lie to you. But she's stating, hey, if these students are going to lower our APR, we're going to have to cut out some of those allocations that we get for the special students. Because for those who don't know, like, the students there's a sliding scale in the NCAA. It's not as hard for an athlete to get into a college as it is a regular student. They just have to, they got a little bit of different parameters, but they do get a little break as far as getting in. And our AD saying, yo, if they can't meet the rigor of being a FAMU student, I'm gonna have to cut that back because I can't have my APR looking like this. And I'm enjoying that. I'm liking that. And I'm liking that some of our sports teams were outstanding. Golf, tennis, were two that I remember distinctly. I believe they had perfect scores. That's awesome. I want football to get there as well, and I think we can. But I'm just gonna tell y'all, and if you were here on Sunday, I meant to really go diving into recruiting, but we got some signings, so I don't want to overly dive into recruiting when I got signings. Look, I'm gonna count the biddies in my hand over the biddies in the bush. If you're not Southern, the biddy is like a baby chicken, but a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. But I'm here for that. Like I want to continue to see us build this program, and I think Coach McCullum is going to add one or two more players. I just had that confidence, and some of it is blind faith, and some of it is looking at what I saw last year and like, bro, you can't have seen what I saw last year and not want to address some of the glaring weaknesses, but also look at some of your obvious upsides. Like, again, I told y'all, Alex Andrews, that's my favorite player this year. His energy. Give me another one of them. Give me another one of those. And I think that kind of energy is infectious because you saw when he was on the court, even for the Jackson State game, the minutes he played, we came back. If he comes back in the second half, I don't know if we win that game, but I think he makes a difference. And I think if you can get him and some more guys like that into the program that have that energy and that not just have the energy, but have the family pride and maybe even that lineage, I think you're gonna get a little bit of difference there. But I'm just gonna say it, man. Look, this straight off the page here. A 6'6" forward, a 6-foot guard, and a 6'10" forward, which he's a center. I'm sorry, Shannon, you're a center fan. I mean, they might tell you you're not gonna play center, but when I'm looking over here, unless and this again is the FAMU basketball website for that 22-23 team. So some of these guys ain't coming back anyway. Some of them are transferred out. I believe Bates is gone. But he's a senior. He's a junior, 6'8", grad student, 6'5". He was I didn't love his game at the beginning. I came to love Noah's game out at the end of the season. But 6'8", that's a forward. He might slide to center a little bit, but that's a forward. Burnside is also a forward, 6'11". Unless he's coming back, you're a center, my man. I don't think he's coming back. Scroll one more. Stamps, he is a center. Unless Stamps is coming back, my man's, you're a center. And I believe I see Stamps might be, yep, right there. I'm just putting it out there. You're a center at FAMU. So, but it's just, we got to be honest about that. That FAMU basketball has got to do something because these attendance numbers are atrocious. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't have a half-empty Lawson Center. And I'm trying to find a picture that really does it a little bit of justice so you can see, like, these are some of the crowds that we got. Like, senior day. About the crowd. Rattler Nation, we can do better than that. But I understand why we didn't. Like, they weren't winning. We can definitely do better than that. But if that's 500 people, that's being aggressive. We can do better than that, but we got to have a better program. And I think one of the things that's going to help with that is not only having that size, having a 6'10" forward/center, but maybe getting another one. Can you get one more? Can you get another 6'7", 6'8", maybe a 6'7" with some energy? I'm just saying, like, we have to get a little bit more in the way of the basketball program to do something. And let's be honest, they both ain't got to be good at the same time. It could be one or the other, but one of them got to be good. Because the good thing about FAMU basketball, that unlike a lot of your larger programs, even across the street, you get double headers. almost every game's a doubleheader. So for your $10 ticket, you really getting 5 for 5. Like we had the 5 for 5 deal before they made it popular. Like you get $5 for this game, $5 for that game. Go get you some boiled peanuts and some more stuff. Like for $20, you getting 2 NCAA basketball games, and you're getting some decent talent in here. And you got an AD that's backing it. So I think that makes a difference. And that's not speaking ill of any of our previous ADs saying they didn't support the program, but it's saying that we have an AD who's getting better support. I'm like this even when it comes to across the street. I will first guess the whole Willie Taggart era before I second guess it with a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all are looking at a brother got fired. Now he didn't get the resources and support that he should have got. But at the end of the day, I get it. The results were the results, and it kind of was what it was. Like I tried to ride with my man's, but I ain't gonna lie, I got a master's degree during that season. That season for Florida State, them 2 years. Yeah, let me go on and get this master's degree right quick. Did it too, and did because it was that hard to watch. It was like, oh, Saturday morning, yeah, let me go on and do this work right quick. It ain't even worth watching. But now FAMU basketball, we got to get there. We have to continue to push this product forward. And one of the things, and I'm gonna leave off on this, y'all, and y'all can tell I'm passionate about FAMU. I am. We have to do a better job of advertising the program. And it's not me second guessing, and I'm not going back and saying anything I said before. I know I said it. My cousin Kelvin Rozier said it. And FAMU basketball. My man Kofi, I don't have my Kofi shirt ready. It's ready to get washed. But all of us said the same thing. Like FAMU basketball's got to do a better job of advertising the product. And even AD Sykes said, we got to advertise this product better, because with better advertising, you may get an additional couple hundred, but with better advertising, you may get some season tickets out of this. And we got to produce revenue. You only got 2 sports that you really charge any money for. So you got 2 times to make money. That's football and basketball. Softball is free with a weak concession stand. Baseball is free with a weak concession stand. Tennis, free, no concession stand. So we're over here talking about not only are those other sports not producing revenue, the concessions options there don't produce any side money either. So we're not a lot. Like, we could at least get somebody, Uncle Junebug out there on the grill. What you want, boy? I got a hamburger for you. Let's go. I got you. A hot dog. Come on, I support these girls. I do it for the free. All the money go back to the team. We need an Uncle Junebug. Somebody out there serving some hot, fresh burgers or something. Because, look, Uncle Smoke Eye. I know the girls at the softball game, they were doing like raffles for baskets and stuff like that. But look, somebody go out there and get something salty behind Rattler Dogs and charge a good $3 for the holler and $2 for the drink. Hit me for a $5 and I'm good. If you get me a drink and a dog, that dog might not take me out, because them Rattler Dogs been taking Negroes out for hypertension since I was small, because them things are salty and they might kill you. But I still love you. I'm gonna be honest enough to tell you the truth. Don't eat the Rattler Dog if you got hypertension. If you're trying to take your mother-in-law out and she got hypertension, a Rattler Dog will do it. Don't do it though. You might catch a murder charge. Them Rattler Dogs are salty. Woo. So into who's though. But I'm just saying, like, we have a program and we have our top 2 revenue producing sports. Football is doing the job. Football is carrying the weight. We're also reinvesting back into it, but we have to get our basketball program up there. And again, both ain't got to be good at the same time, but somebody got to put the butts in the seats. Because when I was in college, the boys was trash and the girls were good. So they flipped the games because the girls would play and we'd leave. I mean, I would leave unless I knew we was going to get that mollywop, and then I'd be like, I'm going to stay for the first half, but it's going to get dark and I got to head over to the other side of town, and I'm not trying to do all that. And not after that loss. I'll watch it on Channel 6. But look, we used to have the girls' games last because the dudes was not hitting it. So one of them got to be good. so that we can create revenue, and we have to be able to advertise that the game's here, the game is at, not just on Facebook, not just on Twitter, but also in ways where support the basketball team. I know growing up, even when I was in college, we had season ticket packages, and it was announced during the football game. Season ticket package for the women, for men's and women's basketball, $120. You know, you get so many games, get a discounted rate, da 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 da. And I think that's something you can continue. I think, hey, have a $250, $300 package. And we do have season tickets packages, just wasn't properly advertised. Where, hey, you just like with the football, you get your season tickets, you get food and a drink for a game, come sit in this area, which they do have, and make it known. Because some people will buy the tickets and not go to the game. Some people are just going to support the athletic program, but we have to continue to advertise it, because I'm just saying, what we see on social media, that's fire. That's fire. I'm just, and I'm not trying to whatever, but FAMU has one of the best. And I'm being a little bashful. I'm gonna stop being bashful. FAMU has the best social media presence when it comes to giving you that little bit of insider access, where you get to see Coach Simmons coaching. You get to see the basketball team, who they're signing. I can't tell you anybody else in the SWAC who they signed in basketball in the spring. I can't. And it's not that I just, don't follow, but I just consistently cannot tell you who all we're signing. Other teams are signing. I can tell you FAMU signing. I got it up to date. I literally pulled that off social media. I didn't have it set up on my computer. That was, as y'all see and as y'all saw, that is Twitter and Instagram. Like right there. It like you can't dispute that they've made it easy. So I think we have to do the same thing when it comes to advertising our sports and making it known that, we have a viable product, and we got to do something, because this season in basketball, there was only one good basketball, or two good basketball teams in the city. And they were TCCs and Florida State women. That was it. Other than that, it was a tough season. And Coach Cimarron is gone. I mean, Wyckoff has been there about as long as Coach Pillow has been there, if we're being honest. And she came in there as an interim coach. She wasn't even full-time her first season. She came in as an interim, stepped down, and then came back. I think this is her first or second full season. Now, granted, the support system is different over there, but at the same point, if we're looking at numbers for numbers, I'm just saying, I'm not comparing apples to oranges, but I'm saying, like, in that same time period, she's doing a lot more with what she's been given. Now, granted, she's been given a little more, doesn't have some of the restrictions, but we still can do more with what we have. So I'm excited though, y'all. Basketball wise, and y'all know I'm really a football head. Like, I'm not a huge basketball junkie, but to see the size we got coming in, 6'10", to go along with the size we already have, that we have returning, and with some of the excitement from talking to some of the players that are coming back, like I'm here for it. Like I'm just telling y'all, I'm here for it. Like, yeah, I'm just going back and looking. I don't remember if Bates leaving or not. Like, I'll double check. Like, yeah. FAMU basketball, I ain't gonna say we're gonna win the SWAC. I'm not saying that, but it's not gonna be that 5 wins we had last year. 7. Sorry, I shortchanged us. It's not gonna be 7 wins. It's gonna be at least 10 wins, and 10 wins ain't gonna be enough to do anything. But 7 wins ain't enough. And another 7-win season, y'all might be calling Pat Kennedy to see what's up. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not plotting on nobody. I'm just being real. Another 7-win season is not gonna cut it, man. So, but come back. See me again on Sunday, 8:30, man. We're gonna really try to go into these recruits, man, because we have a lot of students that have been offered by FAMU that some of y'all don't know. We got coaches clinics coming up, and I'm just saying, all of a sudden, we got a lot of offers that are coming in. You got the coaches clinics, the coaches are traveling across the state. if you haven't been checking them out, check them out especially on Twitter. Our coaches are very public about letting you know where they are at and to let you know they are recruiting. Coach Himmer was here in Central Florida a couple of days ago, about 2 days ago. He was up at at Mineola and up in that area. Like, Coach has been all over the state hunting for recruits. So make sure, again, if you're student athlete, look, make sure your grades are straight. Check out your NCAA eligibility, do your portal stuff, all that good stuff. You need some help, email a brother. Look, I used to do NCAA for high school, so I'll help you out best as I can. And I won't charge you either. It's cool, But that being stated, as always, y'all, big shout out HBCU Digital Network. This is home. Herb Stewart and Black Takers, check them out. Herb said he got some stuff coming for you, and I'm gonna try and get Herb on the show. I ain't gonna lie. That's my brother on the network. But also check him out on HBCU Nightly Spaces. I was in there last night for a little bit. Then I got sleepy. I ain't gonna lie. So I kind of got sleepy and tired, and I'm gonna go back and listen to it, give it a re-listen. But thank y'all for listening. HBCU Digital Network. This is home, and as always, this is Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know